Seasons 3 through 6 of Friends had some of Chandler Bing's funniest, most character-defining moments. There, he's handcuffed, without pants, to a filing cabinet, remaining in timeout in a box for nearly a full episode, hooking up with and later marrying Monica. We all fondly remember all of those funny Friends moments. But you know who doesn't remember them? Matthew Perry, who says that those seasons were a blur due to his problems with substance abuse. So yeah, is he still abusing those substances? Or did Mr. Perry get better? Or what? Who knows? Let's find out. What the f*** happened to Matthew Perry? But to truly understand what the f*** happened to Matthew Perry, we must begin at the beginning, and the beginning began when he was born on his birthday, Massachusetts, 1969. He was the son of two prominent people. His father was actor John Bennett Perry, and his mother, Susan, later served as press secretary to Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, father of Justin, who Matthew Perry says he beat up in school. Young Matthew Perry developed an interest in acting, moving from Canada to LA to live with his father, who was a famous actor. Little Matty P started out with small bits on shows like 240 Robert, a series that starred his father and is considered lost, and the HBO sketch series Not Necessarily the News in 1983, along with more popular fare like Charles in Charge and Silver Spoons. After the TV movie Morning Maggie, Perry got his first consistent acting job on the Fox sitcom Second Chance, aka Boys Will Be Boys, which was retitled to focus more on Perry's character, Chaz.
I'm Debbie Miller.
Boy, are you ever.
But it only lasted one season. But the year that it ended, 1988, was a turning point for the actor. Although most of us probably haven't heard of these titles, Matthew Perry was getting steady work in lots of TV movies and sitcoms, like the TV movie Dance Till Dawn and the sitcom Just the 10 of Us. He had a 2-stint episode on the fantasy Highway to Heaven, and his feature debut, A Night in the Life of Jimmy Reardon, starring River Phoenix, another actor who battled with substance abuse. In 1989, Matthew Perry appeared in the Tony Danza comedy She's Out of Control. Not to mention a pretty good 3-episode arc on Growing Pains, playing Tracy Gold's boyfriend who drinks and drives, resulting in his death. This was a part of that very special episode craze that sitcoms were doing. And you know what? It was a very special episode, mostly because of Matthew Perry's performance, playing a young man who is dealing with substance abuse problems, which unfortunately would foreshadow the real life of Matthew Perry, his real life growing pains. Around this time, he would call it quits on being credited as Matthew L. Perry, and dropping that L seemed like sort of a good luck charm, since immediately after doing that, he landed his first lead in a sitcom, co-headlining CBS's Sydney in 1990. Perry also played Desi Arnaz Jr. in something called Call Me Anna in 1990, and he appeared on my favorite show, Beverly Hills 90210, while also showing up on Dream On and Sibs, before sticking another series, 1993's Home Free, for ABC, which lasted 11 episodes, 2 of which never aired. And there was Doug Liman's Getting In, and yes, Perry would soon be getting into the business in a major way. There would be some more TV movies like Deadly Relations in 1993 and Parallel Lives in 1994, as well as LAX 2194. This thing, LAX 2194, is an unaired pilot that Matthew Perry was too busy doing to initially take a little show called 6 of 1. So yeah, there was this show called 6 of 1, and one of the 6 original actors dropped out, and that LAX 2194 thing didn't happen, so Matthew Perry was suddenly available to join the cast of 6 of 1, which fortunately was renamed to Friends, where Matthew Perry plays the youngest member of these friends, Mr. Chandler Bing, who's the sarcastic one.
It says here that a Muppet got whacked on Sesame Street last night. Where exactly were you around 10ish?
He was always saying silly things, and quickly became a fan favorite. Matthew Perry and the rest of the cast would end up earning $1 million per episode in the last 2 seasons of Friends, which is up from around $22,000 an episode on the first season. But all this money tragically would come in handy for those drug-fueled demons that haunt the nightmares of Matthew Perry. It was during this run that Matthew Perry went full on with his drug addiction. He always wanted to be famous, always wanted to be in the spotlight, always wanted to be a part of showbiz, but neglected to take into account the dark side of fame and fortune. First, becoming addicted to Vicodin following a jet ski accident in 1997, something that would later turn into a 55-pill-a-day habit. This was only enhanced by the mounting pressures of shooting Fools Rush In 1997, which is a fun, innocent, yet generic flick that proved that Matthew Perry could handle himself on the big screen. Like I said, this romantic comedy ain't exactly groundbreaking, but it's nice. It's fun. In 1998, Matthew Perry co-starred opposite the late great Chris Farley in the film Almost Heroes. And this duo right here, it was far from the Chris Farley-David Spade pairing. Yeah, both of these guys are funny, but it just didn't click. The chemistry wasn't there, the material wasn't there. And unfortunately, this movie, Almost Heroes, remains a tarnish on Chris Farley's filmography, another actor who battled with substance abuse. 1999 would bring on another non-challenging romantic comedy called 3 to Tango, while the next year saw a decent enough film called The Whole 9 Yards, which is actually a really funny gangster comedy that excels more due to Bruce Willis and his chemistry with, well, everybody. And yes, that includes Matthew Perry. So yeah, The Whole 9 Yards, it's probably his best movie. But that same year, Matthew Perry suffered from pancreatitis, brought on by alcohol abuse, something that his friends' co-stars tried and failed to get him off of. His friends were acting like friends, but by the year 2001, Matthew Perry was heavily into alcohol, Vicodin, methadone, and amphetamines. He was doing all of that stuff all the time. You can even see it in episodes of Friends. He has dramatic weight gains and weight losses. Like sometimes he has like 2 or 3 chins, and then sometimes he has 1. Matthew Perry's drug and alcohol addiction came to a head in 2002, while he was filming the movie Serving Sarah with Elizabeth Hurley. With less than 2 weeks left in production, his addictions truly started affecting his work, as his quart of vodka a day habit sent him to much-needed rehabilitation. But Matthew Perry says that he only went because he was sure that he was gonna die. Mr. Matthew Perry estimates that he spent around $9 million to get sober, returning to rehab more than 60 times. The next few years would see him show up on Ally McBeal, and we saw Perry giving drama a legit go, with 3 episodes on The West Wing, earning 2 Emmy nominations, and co-starring in his first play, David Mamet's Sexual Perversity in Chicago, more commonly known for its big screen adaptation About Last Night. But Matthew Perry could not avoid comedy because, he's a funny guy. Next, starring in the pointless sequel The Whole 10 Yards, and directing an episode of Scrubs, alongside his father. Following the end of Friends in 2004, many of the cast wondered what would come of their careers, and Matthew Perry waited like 2 years to do anything, but eventually he got in front of the camera, starring in the TV movie The Ron Clark Story, earning Emmy, Golden Globe, and SAG nominations. The dude is a talented actor, y'all. At least the Emmys, the Golden Globes, and the Screen Actors Guild peoples think so. And they're always right, right? But so began a fairly reliable pattern of passable but still forgettable TV and movie work. And that pattern still kinda seems to be active. There was the promising but failed one-season Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, where he played the head writer of an SNL-esque type show. There was 2007's Numb, which went to DTV in the US despite a strong enough turn as a depressed person with mental health issues. He was in Birds of America, an indie, and a pretty okay, charming movie called 17 Again. I think he plays older Zac Efron. So Zac Efron is gonna grow up to look like Matthew Perry, y'all, according to this movie 17 Again. But yeah, this movie 17 Again, it came out in the year 2009, and surprisingly and unjustly, this remains his most recent feature film. That's right, Matthew Perry hasn't been in a movie since 17 Again, which was in 2009, which is like years ago if you do math. Then came the 2010s, which started off with potential, with the creators of Fallout Las Vegas giving him a voice in the video game, because he loves the series, apparently. 2011 brought another series called ABC's Mr. Sunshine, which Matthew Perry co-starred and wrote episodes of, but that was canceled after just 9 episodes. Perry again returned to drama with a 4-episode arc as an attorney on The Good Wife, which he'd reprise for a 2017 3-episode run on The Good Fight. Then, Matthew Perry yet again was given a shot at headlining a sitcom, playing a sportscaster on Go On, which, yeah, was canceled after 1 season. The same year that ended, Matthew Perry gave back in the most noble of ways, opening a Malibu rehab center for people who were struggling with the same problems he is, or was, or is, but unfortunately this Malibu rehab center was shut down in 2015. But it did last twice as long as most of his TV shows, so there's that. Then Matthew Perry was a part of the Odd Couple reboot, which somehow lasted 3 seasons. But you know what? Matthew Perry, his love of acting on the stage never went away, and he went back to the stage, writing something called The End of Longing, which played in London and off-Broadway. In 2017, Perry played another character who was also dealing with substance abuse, so I'm sure he pulled from his personal life to bring this character to life, and that character was famous boozer Ted Kennedy in the TV movie The Kennedys, after Camelot. And then his colon exploded. No, really, his aggressive Oxycontin abuse in the later part of the decade led to an explosion of his colon, an exploded colon, unfortunately leaving him with a colostomy bag. His abuse also would put him in a coma with 2 weeks on life support, with doctors giving him a 2% chance of survival. And all of this is detailed graphically and effectively in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, available wherever you can buy stuff that you read. But yeah, actually, in all seriousness here, you should actually give a fuck about what the fuck happened to Matthew Perry, because there's a lesson here, and that lesson is, my friends, don't fucking do drugs. And through it all, canceled TV shows, drug addictions, almost fucking dying, Matthew Perry survived and has been sober since 2021. Congratulations, Mr. Perry. We are all proud of you. Thank you for stopping all of that drugs and stuff. Could he be any luckier? Could he be any more blessed? Could he be in anything else that's gonna be good and successful? I don't know. Let's find out. What the fuck are you gonna do next, Matthew Perry? But you know what? It really doesn't matter because the performance of your life has been overcoming this horrible addiction. So it really doesn't matter if Matthew Perry makes another good movie or another good TV show ever again, because being alive is more important than movies and television. WTF.